All right, let's round up today's top stories from the world of science and tech with CTV science and technology expert. They very tanned Dan Riskin, and I know Dan's a smart guy, so he's wearing sunscreen all the time. How are you, Dan?
Yeah, apparently not enough of it if I have a 10, but I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Pretty good, thanks. Pretty good for this Monday morning. So let's talk about, bad news if you run to burn calories. I think a lot of people think, hey, the faster I run, the harder I run, the more I'm going to burn. But what's the study saying?
Well, this is a neat study out of Queen's University, and it shows based on a whole bunch of people with an app on their phone that tracks their run, and they gave permission for their data to be used in this study. It shows that when people run different distances, 5K, 10K, longer, they have a favorite running speed. Individuals don't vary their speed very much, and that goes against what researchers were expecting. Researchers thought that when somebody's running a shorter distance, they're going to try to go faster, but we don't find that when we look at the data of thousands of people wearing these trackers. But what we do find is that they've entered their weight and their age and their gender into this app. What we find is that people tend to pick that very special running speed where they burn the least energy. So people exercise, they run to burn calories, but when you get out there, you instinctively run at the speed that will use the fewest calories. It's a neat thing about our biology that we're made to run efficiently, and that's what we do.
That is so fascinating, Dan, really, because it just, like you said, it's counterintuitive, really, to what you might expect. Okay, the other week we had something about a spider who jumps off his partner immediately after intercourse. Now we've got the highest ever jump by a robot.
Yes, the robot doesn't perform intercourse with spiders yet, but we're working on that. But this is a robot it's 30 centimeters tall, and it can jump 30 meters. So if you've seen the Chrysler Redeemer statue in Brazil, this is a little robot the size of a ruler that can jump that high.
Whoa.
Researchers say this is the theoretical maximum for how high you could jump with a robot with today's materials technology. And so it's a smart little design. It turns into a little missile-shaped thing. Once it leaves the ground, it's just storing energy in springs, basically, and then releasing it. And it seems like a kind of a fun thing to do, to prove a fun robot here on Earth. But if you think of a place like the moon, where you can't have quadcopters because there's no atmosphere, this is something that would be able to jump half a kilometer in a single bound. And so this could be a good technology for getting around on other planetary and lunar surfaces for the space program.
I just want to get it on the bottom of my shoes. Talk about a spring in your step, right? You could really just bounce around. All right, so yesterday, Dan, was Mother's Day, so we chose this topic appropriately. Attention moms, if it feels like your teenager isn't hearing you, you're actually right.
Yeah, this is bad news for moms. So we waited until after Mother's Day to talk about this because we didn't want to spoil it for them. But here we are the day after Mother's Day. And if it feels like your teenager does not listen to you, it's not their fault. It's wired into their brains. A new study shows that when young kids, hear different female voices, it's when they hear their mom's voice that different parts of the brain light up compared to other female voices. And it's certain centers that are associated with pleasure and paying attention. And when you turn about 13 or 14, all of a sudden those stop lighting up when you hear mom's voice and work for other female voices that they were comparing them to in the study. And so you actually are paying active attention to voices from outside the home. And this is thought to be just a normal part of development that helps teenagers sort of branch out and start off as adults as they reach that phase of life. And so it's a little sad for mom, but it makes perfect sense. And it's not the kid's fault. It's just their brains being wired that way.
There you go, moms. Now you know. And it's always great to chat with you, Dan Riskin, CTV's science and tech expert. Appreciate the time, Dan. Have a great week.
It's always a pleasure. You too. Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Folks up there, this is above Ripley's Aquarium, launching today and for a month at Ripley's is a striking new installation at the intersection of art and activism. It's called Giant Plastic Tap, and here to pour over the details is the creator, Benjamin Von Wong. Benjamin, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Look, let's get the project backstory. Was it kind of a slow burn for you, or was it like a aha, eureka moment?
I mean, I've been doing single-use plastic awareness projects for over 6 years now, and time and time again, we keep talking about the importance of turning off the plastic tap. And I just keep hearing the sentence said in the nonprofit space and wanted to see what it would look like if we could create a visual, and hence 3-story tall levitating faucet spewing plastics all over the place.
It's such an amazing visual. Plastic waste statistics were already alarming before the pandemic, but they have skyrocketed. Why is that?
Well, I think plastics is just ubiquitous in everything we use, and since the beginning of the pandemic, single-use plastic consumption has increased by over 250% in North America, and we can see it in our own daily lives, right? Amazon orders, takeout containers, all these things that we just, these small little actions really end up adding up, and I think with the pandemic we can really see that spilling over.
Benjamin, what's the biggest culprit? The bags, the straws, packaging, or something else?
I don't know if the biggest really matters. It's almost, if you agree that single-use plastic consumption is a problem, then you just need to start somewhere. Start figuring out a way to reduce our own consumption wherever it's possible. I know it's really difficult, and that's why part of that is also raising awareness so that politicians, governments, brands all know that this is something that we don't want in our systems. It's something that we wish we didn't have to opt into. You don't want to buy the plastic container with the goods that you're trying to buy. And I think that art like this, coming here, taking photos, talking about it, is one way to make sure that the conversation stays top of mind with so many other problems going on in the world.
And there's a live shot from Chopper24 above the installation. Benjamin, art can advance and inspire, meaningful dialogue. It can attest our assumptions and provoke in a way that really just text or talk alone just can't do. And it's abstract for a lot of us until it's in our face or in our backyards. But it is now. It's in our face. It's in our backyards.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we see it with all the different attendees that have been coming by, whether it's young kids or older adults. Like, everyone sees this and they're like, oh, that's not a good thing. It's terrible. We really need to get together and do something about it. So it's been really heartwarming to see all these different folks come in, be touched by it. If you're around and want to come by, check out the aquarium, discover both what you're trying to protect, the oceans that we love, the nature, the environment, and also something that you can do about it. I think it's really, really important.
Benjamin, talk about the ocean. We often hear about that. That's it right there. Turn off the plastic tap. Hashtag. The Pacific Ocean. There's this floating trash island out there that seems to be growing almost exponentially. Now they say it's more than 2 times the size of the state of Texas. And it just keeps swirling with ocean currents. Plus, we just discovered microplastics in human blood for the first time, right? Do you think we're at an existential tipping point here?
I think certainly the data isn't good. Plastics is everywhere in the farthest reaches of the planet, in our systems, in our embryonic fluid, in our blood, in our lungs, and it's something that's only getting worse over time. That's why we need to take action today. I think we can't let the anxiety and the scale and the magnitude of the problem move us into inaction. If anything, it should galvanize us to do more. And certainly there's a lot to look forward to. If we think about just in February this year, delegates from 193 different countries came together to sign into place a global plastics resolution, which is a legally binding treaty for countries to come together to stand up against plastics. Canada is one of the signing dignitaries, but we all know that resolutions are just the beginning. We need to keep up the momentum, and so I think art like this, people standing up, voicing their concerns, is all part of that fight to make sure that change can happen in time to protect the next generation.
So you're saying we can flatten the COVID curve and the climate curve at the same time? Because some critics say we just can't walk and chew gum here.
No, I think we need to do all of it and more, right? We have, as a species, we're so resilient, we're so creative, we're so innovative. We should be able to come up with new solutions. There has to be something to fight for, something to look forward to. It's not just the end of the world all the time, also.
Yeah, and the truth is so much of this stuff can be recycled into other things. We have the technology. As they say, creator and artist with a mission and crusade, Benjamin Von Wong. It's at Ripley's Aquarium. It launches today for a month. The giant plastic tap. Chopper24 providing amazing live pictures from high above. Benjamin, thank you so much for your time and the work you do.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. Come check it out.
We will.
All right, well, let's get into this morning's entertainment news now. We're joined by Etalk's Lainey Louie. Lainey, thanks for joining us this morning. Good to see you. We're going to begin with this. Percy Jackson author calling out the racist backlash over casting. The casting has gone completely in the opposite direction where you would have expected it.
Well, Rick Riordan is the author of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and he is involved in the adaptation for the series. But when it was announced that Leah Jeffries, a Black actress, would be playing the character of Annabeth, who is written in the book as white, there were people who were condemning of it and upset by it. And Rick himself, and he wrote this story, said, reacting like this is racist. We want any person to be able to become a superhero and act this part. Leah is the perfect Annabeth and shut down. And then he started trending Leah is our Annabeth, and that started trending as well. So that comes from, again, the author of the book series who is involved in the adaptation.
Right. It's got that Spider-Man feeling. Anybody can wear the mask, right? You know, that sort of thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. Well, still speaking of the big screen, Dirty Dancing, a sequel is in the works. I mean, the first one came out, what, like in 88, 89?
Wow, you're taking me back. But yes, I was a teenager, so
same.
That was yes, the first one came out in the 80s, and there have been several like sequels and somewhat reboots, but this is a real continuation of the story of Baby, because Jennifer Grey is coming back as her character Baby, and she's involved with the writing process. She's definitely going to be a big part of the movie, and the thing is that they want to bring this story, it's a classic story, to a new generation of viewers. We don't know what involvement, if any, Patrick Swayze will have, because they're working with his estate to somehow see if they can incorporate Johnny Castle's story into this. So we'll have to see how they handle that. But the movie is expected to come out in 2024.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be some sort of allusion to Johnny in that movie. And I wonder if Baby, you know, ends up in the Peace Corps. I think that was kind of her goal at the beginning of the movie. So I guess we'll find out in 2024 and see. In the meantime, Lainey Louie, thanks for your time.
I've just found out that you know this movie very well.
It's my wife's favorite movie. It's my wife's favorite movie, lady. So I've seen this movie so many times. I can probably quote it chapter and verse in certain scenes.
I'm impressed.
It was our first dance at our wedding too. So you know the whole thing, right? It's all there. Anyway, Lainey, that's about all my movie knowledge. It's captured into one movie, Dirty Dancing. Great to see you this morning. Have a good one.
Thank you.
The puck drops tomorrow on an all-new Crave original series, SHORESY, a very different brand of hockey. Joining us now ahead of the premiere are two of the cast members this morning in the CP24 parking lot, Tassia Tellis and Harlan Kaidweha. Thank you both for being here this morning. Really looking forward to this. Not sure how much we can really show or listen to this morning because, of course, the content, veers into the vulgar, but amusingly vulgar, of course, Tassia. So let's start with you. Tell us about the character you play and tell us about the appeal of joining this series, which, of course, is a spin-off of Letterkenny.
Well, the character of Nat, she manages the hockey players. And, of course, as we know, SHORESY is a foul-mouthed, chirping son of a gun. And so, you know, there's a lot of work involved with that. But I was super excited to join the Letterkenny cast. I absolutely love what they do. I'm a huge fan, so I was very excited when I heard about this project. And really excited to share it this week.
And Harlan, what about you? I'm curious not only about your role, but also about what it's like on set, because I mean, I'm sure the chirping doesn't stop once they say cut.
Oh no, it doesn't. It's actually pretty great. Just having to like be there, meeting them, because I'm a huge fan of Letterkenny myself, and I actually started watching Letterkenny just over a year ago, but I started on SHORESY, so it's pretty cool to like be in this environment now.
And Harlan, what is it about Letterkenny do you think has this appeal? Because it not only does it have an appeal in Canada, but it's also getting some international attention for its, different brand of comedy.
Yeah, I think it's just being authentic, the Canadian humor. I think people are really taking a liking to. Personally, I think that's what it is.
I think you're right. I mean, there's that Canadiana to it. And Tassia, you got hockey, you got some sort of swearing, you got the chirping, you got the sort of this various cast of characters.
Yeah.
What should people be looking for in this that's different from Letterkenny? Because it's not Letterkenny, it's SHORESY. It's a different show.
Yeah, we were talking about this. I mean, it has its own tone. It's still punchy, it's still edgy, it's still comedic, and it has that Letterkenny vibe that we love. But it has, a different kind of storyline, and it's episodic. It's a little different. So the characters develop in a different way, and the hockey definitely makes it really edgy and yeah. Now
the premiere, of course, is tomorrow night on Crave. Harlan, what's the thought right now in terms of has this been booked for a second season now, or how far is this going to go as far as you know?
Well, I'm hoping that it can keep going and just as long as Letterkenny, because I'm really hoping to develop Sanguinette more and the relationship with SHORESY and just all the other characters. Like, I really hope it just keeps going more, and tomorrow is just exciting.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I mean, the promos, Tassia, we've been seeing them on sort of all kinds of Bell Media products in the last little while. What does it feel like to be a part? I mean, you've been part of some pretty big shows already, but what does it feel like to be part of this show that is sort of getting the attention of the country right now?
Honestly, it's a dream. When I got the phone call that this show was happening and that I was being considered for the role, I was like, stop everything else. I don't care what else is coming down the pipeline. I want to be a part of this team. I love what they do. I love, how Canadian and how proud and everything that they do. I'm just so honored to be a part of the cast, so it's great.
Yeah, amazing. Now, Harlan, I'm also curious too, with all the chirping, and like we've already established, the chirping doesn't end, once you say cut. How much of the show gets any sort of ad libs, or how much leeway are you given with your characters and with your lines?
Well, I feel like I got a lot of creative freedom with saying Winnette. Like the ad-libbing, just throwing in the extra things. Like Jared, of course, would be like, hey, we're going to try this real quick. If not, we'll try this, and we'll just see which works. And honestly, it was all great. It was funny. There's definitely some ad-libs in there that we shot and that will be in the season.
And Tassia, how would you compare this experience to the other, shows you've been a part? You were a part of 100. How would you compare this to other programs you've been part of?
Oh my God, it's totally different. I mean, being a part of comedy is so much fun. It's so great, and these guys have such a well-oiled machine. Like the writing just lifts you up and just takes you on a journey right away, and it was just amazing.
All right, of course, all the political leaders were in Sudbury, Ontario, but the focus on SHORESY, of course, is Sudbury, Ontario. Tassia Tellis and Harlan Kite-Wayhat, thanks for being here this morning. Good luck with the show to both of you.
Thank you.
This looks fun.
Oh, it is.
This looks fun.
Oh, it isn't.
Are these the same hilarious Kids in the Hall from the early 90s?
No, these are the rage-filled Kids in the Hall in the mid-90s.
What's it about?
No one knows. Some say this movie was dry-heaved into existence because of a dark deal with the devil. Others say...
All right, are you ready for this? After almost 3 decades, the Kids in the Hall are back, banded together for another run, this time on Prime Video, and marking their return at a special place near and dear to the comedians, the Rivoli. So we've got Bruce McCullough and the owner of the Rivoli, John Christensen, joining us now live this morning on CP24 Breakfast. That self-deprecating Kids in the Hall humor is Bruce clearly alive and well this morning. Good morning to you. How are you today?
CP24, I finally made it. It took forever, but here I am.
This is the pinnacle.
I'm excited for our show to drop.
This is absolutely the pinnacle, Bruce. Forget about Amazon
television.
Video.
I'm not doing breakfast television. Yeah.
Why would you? Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
Forget Amazon. Well, no, I'm on Prime. Like, it's the best.
This is it. You're in the sort of top left corner of a function screen here. You've absolutely made it, Bruce. So let's talk about this new series here, because the trailer. It's full of self-deprecation. It's full of sort of flashbacks to sort of what you guys used to do. But what can we expect for these next 8 episodes?
It just falls apart after episode 1.
Okay.
Kidding. How's the traffic on the Gardner right now? That's what I'm more interested in.
You can see on that screen that you're sharing. Yeah. It's looking busy.
Oh no, that's terrible. No, it was wonderful to come back, and we revived some of our old characters, some new characters, and we just really enjoyed it. And we hope that some of the people in Canada will watch it.
I got a feeling more than some are going to be watching, Bruce. And of course, you're talking to us this morning from the Rivoli with the Rivoli's new owner, John Christensen. John, the connection of the kids and the Rivoli, it's pretty near and dear. Can you talk about what this is like for you to sort of continue this association?
Hugely exciting. Basically, knowing that the kids started on this stage and we have a chance to honor them today and continue to see a show moving forward. It's great.
It's great to be here because we failed here for about 3 years and then we succeeded for about 2 months. And this is a very important place. It's the coolest club in the world, and we were honored to be on here and to keep coming back and as we continue to come back.
And what about that? How hard has it been,
Yes.
Bruce, to actually come back? I know you sort of had a couple of reunions over the last several years. Then the sort of pandemic gets in the way. So, but overall, just coming back, sort of getting the band back together as it was. What's that been like, and how kind of special is it that people are still have an appetite for the Kids in the Hall?
Well, we're shocked that there's such an overwhelming, it feels like love for us at this moment. But I look at it that we've all been through a catastrophe with COVID. And I feel like it's sweet because we've all made it through. And, we're just these old, weird dudes that have also made it through. And we have these amazing outsider fans who are excited to see us again.
Yeah, no doubt. And John, as a club owner as well, I mean, it's been catastrophic for the live entertainment industry as well. This must sort of give you a bit of a boost, the fact that the Kids in the Hall, are once again, bringing attention to the Rivoli.
For sure, we're loving it. As much attention as we can get. We need the support. We need the people to come out and see the shows and all the new talent that's coming.
Come buy some watered down drinks at the Rivoli, which they've always been watered down, which is great because I don't get that drunk. Right. And I remember once in the 80s when the waitress said, "Of course we have bad service. We're the Rivoli." But I think things have changed since then.
I love the sales pitch we're getting. Bruce, let me ask you about comedy. I mean, comedy's changed a lot since the sort of early to mid 90s here. Are there any areas that the kids won't go anymore? Because you guys love pushing the envelope, pushing the limits. Has it changed? Has it sort of hindered at all your creative process?
I don't think so. I mean, this is a much more accepting and loving time, and I think there's certain words and targets that you don't go at, which we would never want to go at anyway, but we always just do what we want to do, and then we sort of look up and go, oh, was that too far? But it hasn't been, we hope, to this point. So, but no, we just write what's in our brain.
What is your favorite sketch in this new series? What can you tell us about it? Because, of course, it's dropping on Prime soon, but what can you actually tell us about, like, what's the best new thing that you're doing right now?
Well, there's lots of good stuff, and I never want to say my stuff, but there is a scene where I drive a easy chair down the road at 30 miles an hour, which is kind of one of the... It's like, can I drive an easy chair down the road at 30 miles an hour? And they figured out how to do it. So that was something that was pretty fun for me.
Would you do that on the Gardiner Expressway this morning?
I would not, because it's backed up, and so you should get off at Lawrence?
Right. Getting off the Gardiner Lawrence, that'd be a challenge. Listen, Bruce and John, thank you so much for being here. Bruce, I know this may not be, you're hoping there's going to be more of this, of course, more series, so we'll hope for that. Bruce McCullough and Rivoli owner John Christensen, thanks so much. Good luck with this series, and great to chat with you both this morning. Appreciate this.
Why wouldn't you ask me to sing the Daves I Know?
Yeah. Okay. All right, you know what, Bruce? Let's do that then. We're gonna call an audible. We were gonna tease something else, a different singer, Arkells frontman Max Kerman. But you know what? Let's do it. These are the Daves I know, and the fans can sing along at home. Bruce, sing us to break, please.
These are the Daves I know, I know. These are the Daves I know. These are the Daves I know, I know. These are the Daves I know.